Joining us now, the unwashed, the way they describe him, the unwashed Corey Lewandowski, former Trump campaign manager. And Corey, first of all, it's great to have you on the show. We are howling at these news reports. I mean, they are really fresh out of ideas at this point.
Well, Laura, it's so good. It's so good to be with you. But, the most important part is, from day one, from the day Donald Trump came down that escalator, these were the same people who said he would never be successful.
Bingo.
The same people who said he will never win the Republican nomination, he cannot beat Hillary Clinton, his high water mark is 38%, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And every single time, the president has proven them wrong. And you know what? It's amazing that maybe, just maybe, someday they will learn that they have no idea what the heck they're talking about.
Are you surprised about how nasty it is? I mean, we all knew it was going to be war. It's like domestic political warfare after he won. But even people who knew it was going to be tough seem to be shocked these days.
What's most shocking to me is the accomplishments which he's been able to achieve in the first 4 months and the lack of credit he has received. Just take the Gorsuch nomination. One simple thing. He literally got about 4 hours of good press that he received, by all accounts, by every standard, a phenomenal Supreme Court justice who is going to go and uphold the Constitution the way it's supposed to be from the bench. He had 4 hours of good press on that, and then the next thing moved on. He gets no credit. And look, by any administration standard, if you get a Supreme Court nomination done in the type of time frame they did the first 110 days, that would be success. Trump gets no credit for that. And hopefully today, if the president says he's pulling out of the Paris Accord, the mainstream media is going to absolutely, their heads
crazy.
Are going to
they already are.
And oh my God, China doesn't pay a dime. Russia doesn't pay a dime. The worst, polluters in the world don't pay a dime, but they want us to pay, a couple $1 billion a year to make this right. And lose 40,000 American factories and millions of jobs, by the way.
Corey, the investigation continues to drag down the agenda, I think, because of a lot of things. I think it takes up a lot of people's time. That's just the way these things go. It happened with Clinton. It happened even in the Reagan administration with all those special counsels and all the Meese investigations, Ray Donovan. It was like goes on and on and on. Iran-Contra. So what recommendation would you give to the president if you're in there with him and it's easy to get angry at things that are happening that you think are unfair to you. I mean, I'd probably do the same thing. But what advice would you give to him, given your experience in politics and running a successful campaign?
Two things I think are very important. Number one, I just realized this, and I had not known this, and it's important. When the special prosecutor was named in the Bill Clinton case, he was named 18 months before Bill Clinton ever even met Monica Lewinsky, if that tells you anything. That tells you the size and the scope that these people potentially have to drag on these investigations. And once they've started, who knows where
you don't know where it'll end up.
Where they turn. That's right. It's very dangerous. The second thing, so you have to be very careful. But look, if the president were to call me and ask me my opinion, I'd say, sir, you say exactly what Sean Spicer said yesterday, which was we're now referring all of our comments to Mark Kasowitz, the lead attorney, who's going to be answering these, and put together a team, as they've talked about now, it's been publicly reported, about making sure that they have a good group of people who understand not just the legal side of things, because this isn't just a legal war. This is a political war. This is something where the Democrats are using to try and, push a narrative which is Donald Trump should be impeached. There's absolutely nothing here. There's nothing as it relates to this which has been illegal, which has been collusion, which has been coordination. There's nothing, but that's the narrative the Democrats want to push, and the Democrats have the mainstream media to help them do it.
And I think in the end it ends up being so important for this president to stay connected to the people of America. And he has a way of, I don't know, one-on-one, especially with people. You can't meet every person one-on-one, but there are those moments, those images that do stay with us. Like when he was at General Kelly's son's grave at Arlington on Monday, with Vice President Pence. I mean, I got teared up. I mean, it was, it clearly affected him, as it does to the commander-in-chief. I mean, you're dealing with real lives, decisions about deployment of troops. Real people's lives are in the balance, hanging in the balance, and this is really serious stuff. And the investigation goes forward, but he's the commander-in-chief of the United States, and I think my personal view is the less he speaks about the investigation, the better, and the more he focuses on the American people, the better.
I think that's right. And, this president was elected to bring change to Washington, where I think he is the very, very best. And his opponents and his adversaries will all say the same. He will go out on the campaign trail, and he works harder than anybody. He'll do 4, 5, 6, 7 stops a day. He gives these speeches in front of 10, 20, 30,000 people. I love when the president is on the road. Two things. I don't think you can win your legislative battle from Washington, D.C. I think you need to take it on the road. You need to take it to the members of Congress and the U.S. senators who are potentially blocking your legislative agenda, which is tax reform, immigration reform, repeal and replace of Obamacare, building the wall on the southern border. I love when the president's on the road. I love it because he goes directly to the American people. If it were me, if I were, the person who gets to choose what the president's schedule looks like, I'd have him on the road 2-3 days a week. I think he loves the road. I think he loves the opportunity to interact with the people. It invigorates him, and it gives him that opportunity to go directly to the people because the networks are going to cover him, and it allows him to bypass all the craziness that takes place in the White House and get out and talk to the people and hold members of Congress and the U.S. Senate accountable if they're not moving his agenda forward.
We're talking to Corey Lewandowski, former campaign manager for Donald Trump. There's a lot of speculation, Corey, that you're going to go back into the administration. I know you can't announce it to us, but can you give us any insights into your thought process on what might be happening with you and the team over there?
Look, I think it's very fair to say that I have been a loyal and steadfast supporter to the president since we've turned the lights on at the campaign on day one back in January of 2015 when no one gave him a chance to be successful. And if I can have a role that helps him move that agenda forward, if that's from the outside, it's an honor and I'll be happy to do it. If there's something that I have a comparative advantage in that would require me to go inside the government, it's something I'd look at. But to be fair, I've got a very good life on the outside. I've got a young family. I get to spend some time with them.
Yeah.
I live in New Hampshire, as you know. I don't have a home in Washington, D.C. And so, while the allure of working for the government sounds very impressive, it's also a very big personal sacrifice. I would do it if the president absolutely asked, but I think I can be very helpful from the outside as well.
I got it. Well, there's certainly big considerations. I thought just to make you laugh, Corey. Look, George Will, I think, is so brilliant in so many ways, and he's a friend of mine. But he's really so unhappy about Donald Trump being in the White House for all the reasons that he said on television. He said today, conservatism is soiled by scowling primitives whose irritable gestures lack mental ingredients. America needs a reminder of conservatism before vulgarians hijacked it. So I guess you're one of those vulgarians. I probably am too. But
the only thing that's soiled is George's pants on election night. That's the only thing that got soiled, okay? This guy, don't forget, he quit the Republican Party over Donald Trump. You have to remember, this is supposed to be a lifelong Republican, a person who believes in conservative values, and he had to quit the Republican Party. But the difference is Donald Trump is doing exactly as the president, as what he said he would do in the campaign. How can George Will be opposed to the largest tax cut in our nation's history? Reducing corporate taxes, reducing personal income taxes, simplifying the tax code. How can George Will be opposed to the repealment and replacement of Obamacare? Something where we've seen premiums in some states go up over 100% and people not having the health care coverage that they need. How can George Will be opposed to an infrastructure spending bill that says we're going to put $1 trillion back in so you can drive on the roads and bridges safely? How can George Will be opposed to increased spending for our military and our homeland security so that the people who protect us on a day-to-day basis, whether it's on our domestic soil through the Department of Homeland Security or overseas with the military, have all the tools that they need? I don't understand how George Will, as a Republican, those aren't Republican or Democratic values. Those are American values right across the board. And if George Will is opposed to those things, he's welcome, like so many other celebrities, to choose to live somewhere else if they want to.
Corey Lewandowski, it's so great to have you on the show, and we just wish you the very best of luck. Pray for you as you make your decisions in the coming days and weeks, and come back and join us soon, okay?
I will. Thank you for the time. Have a great day.
All right, you take care.